I've absolutely loved sharing this Dance Life TV Unplugged interview series with you all. And there's no one more delightful to interview than Conor Bann-Murray. Conor is so fun. And on the show, a lot of people might say, potentially that he came off a little relaxed about the whole process. But what I loved in this interview is he really shares that he was just comfortable. He was being himself. And I think that the show needed that light because it was very serious, right? We had a lot of serious people in the space and it all felt really high pressure. The stakes were high in Dance Life. But Conor was the very much needed light. And he's one to be taken quite seriously. I mean, he's gone on to do some pretty phenomenal gigs since graduating from Brent Street Studios and from being showcased on the show. I mean, he's been dancing with top A-grade celebrities. He's in, professional musical theatre casts. And we're going to share that all in this episode. So you're going to get to find out exactly what Conor's up to now these days, his experience throughout the show, and what life is truly like as an artist, an emerging artist and a dancer. And, the things that what his dreams are, where he's planning to go and how he plans to get there. It's pretty cool actually to see this journey, to see how these young artists develop when they go into, the real world, I suppose, of the professional world. It's very different to training, but there's so many lessons learned in training. He's also going to talk about what it's like to be, in a musical theatre show, night after night, week after week, month after month, going on to over 12 months. And performing the same role every single night. What that actually feels like, because, that perception of the dream and how that does actually become a job. And that is a really interesting part of this interview as well. So stay tuned for Conor. Hello and welcome to Studio Biz and All That Jazz. I'm your performing arts business coach and host, Josephine Lancuba. This show is designed to bring you inspiration, information, and the instruments you need to create and grow the studio biz of your dreams. I will bring you a mix of solo episodes as well as interviews where I tap into the minds of industry experts. My career started as a performer over 2 decades ago. I later became a speaker, theatrical producer, and talent manager, as well as having a successful teaching career in singing, drama, and dance. 10 years into my professional journey, I became a mama of 2, and with a baby on my hip, opened up my very own performing arts studio. From hardship and humble beginnings to 4 studio locations and a multi-6-figure performing arts biz, I know how to attract students and keep them coming back for more. And in the show, I will share with you my experiences to help you thrive and fast-track your path to success. I know you have a spark inside of you with dreams and goals for the future. As your coach and mentor, I'm here to help you step into your limelight and be a cheerleader in your ear each and every week. So get ready to be entertained and inspired as we talk studio biz and all that jazz. Conor, I'm so excited to have you on the show today. Thank you so much for coming on to Studio Biz and All That Jazz. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Now, I obviously, a bit of a fan. Anyone that's listening to this Unplugged series will know that I'm a fan of Dance Life, which has been phenomenal to see on our screens, not only in Australia, but for Australian dance to really hit a global audience, which is really, really cool. I want to know so much because you've brought a lot of energy and light to the show. Yeah, I just love that. And I think it's so important to have the yin and yang. It's funny. Do you see yourself when you watch it back? Because I imagine you've watched it back, right? Or you want to like, no, I will not watch it.
And also, it's always playing back in my brain. Every time I go to bed, I'm like, I did this, I did that, I'll do this bit.
Yeah, and it's funny, isn't it, watching yourself back in such a way that is, a docu-series, because it's not like you're playing a character, but you almost are a character. you know?
Yeah, I feel like it's just a representation of ourselves and like what we want to show the world.
Yeah.
But then again, at the end of the day, it's us. So it's weird. Like it's, I don't know, it's crazy.
It is a bit crazy, and I loved watching it unfold. But tell us a little bit about you and how you started in dance. Like, what was it that said, "Yeah, I'm going to be a dancer"?
Well, I always loved just like cartwheeling around the house, doing the splits, jumping around, going crazy. I was a very active child. Like I was always like on my mum's legs and arms and being like, like trying to do things and like get their attention. And they always wanted me to dance because they put my sister in dance class. And then when we moved to Australia, because I was born in London, they put my sister in a dance school called Extreme Dance Studios, which is my home where I was from. And I was too scared at first because I was like, boys don't dance. Like, I can't do this. Like, that's weird. Like, I don't want to do it. But like, there's no denying that like I was made for it. Like, I was always dancing, grooving, wiggling my hips, as my mum would like to say. And then they enrolled me and I finally said yes. And it was my first day of ballet. And I was so excited. I had my ballet shoes and jazz shoes. And I remember how they said you're not allowed to wear your jazz shoes on the concrete. And I was running around the street on them, showing all my neighbors. And then, yeah, I started and then I never could leave the studio. I'm addicted to it.
Yeah, I mean, how old were you when you started? Like, what age were you?
5 years old. Sorry, left that bit out.
5 years
Yeah.
old. So this has been a long journey. When was it that you went from being, okay, so you're this 5-year-old, you're loving your dance classes, to this is getting serious. I want to be a dancer.
I think it was when we used to, do the 4-hour road trip from Port Macquarie to Sydney to watch like the big musicals like Mary Poppins and um, Strictly Ballroom. That was a really big thing that made me be like, oh my God, like we can perform in front of thousands of people as a job. And I remember from watching those musicals, I like it was my goal to like be in one. And I remember I used to like tell my parents like, would you let me leave school and do homeschool and go to Sydney to do those musicals? And I think from that time, I would like from that moment on, I was like, okay, like I really, really want to do this. And then I went to the Brent Street Open Day, and that was in like I don't know what year it was, but I was in year 9, I think. Yeah, it would have been year 9. And I remember when we were driving back after the open day, because I think we did like a day trip. So we drove up in the morning 4 hours, drove back after. And as soon as I got in the car after the open day, I was like, Mum, I'm going to BSA. And she was like, okay, you can't go in year 10, but you can go in year 11. And from that moment on, I was like, that it was set. Like, I was like, I'm going to be a professional dancer. I'm going to go to Brent Street and my life is going to be in the lights and cameras and audience. It was just, yeah. So from that day on, I was like, it's going to happen.
Yeah, and that's why it's so important, isn't it, to take, kids to go and see these productions and actually experience it. I think that in any sort of craft, art form, sport, whatever. I mean, my son's a bit of a soccer head, so I'm going to go take him to see the professional league because I want him to see it and feel it, and then you kind of know if it's for you, I reckon.
Yeah, and then like you get to see like how hard they work for it, you know what I mean? And like then it's like, do you actually want to do it? And it's like some people come out saying yes, they do. Some people are like, oh, that's too much for me. But like I'm glad I was like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, love that.
But yeah,
So tell me a little bit more in relation to your journey into Brent Street, because you said you're from Port Macquarie, is that right?
yes,
It's a
yeah.
bit of a trek. Yeah.
Yeah, 4 hours away, yeah.
Yeah. So
But
I
I
mean,
mean like it's a long drive, but like I always was doing competitions and like my mum was very she was very encouraging of me to like go to Sydney, go to Gold Coast, get my name out there, meet people, go to workshops, which was really good. And she would always drive me. And I feel like it was kind of nice because it was like a little holiday, like a little getaway down to Surfers Paradise or down to Sydney, down to Manly, which was really good.
yeah, I love that. And it's interesting because there seems to be a bit of a I guess a reputation of Brent Street, and people really know its name. I'm wondering how a boy from Port Macquarie even knows about Brent Street? Like, how does that become a part of your orbit? And it's interesting because a lot of the people listening are studio owners and teachers, and, you know, just from a business perspective, it's interesting that they have this energetic pull for people that want to, you know, go professional. What was that for you? Like, how did you even know it existed?
If I'm being honest, it was Australian Dance Festival. Because I remember the first time I went, it was like my eyes were like fully opened. Like I was like, holy moly, like this is like everything. Like I remember I used to tell my friends that didn't dance, I was like they'll be like, where are you going for the weekend? And I was like, basically it's like Christmas for dancers. That's what I used to call it, because it was like the best weekend of the year. And that's how I found out about Brent Street, and like I like followed all of like the choreographers and like all of the dancers at the time, and I was such big fans of them. And I don't know, I just feel like seeing them perform on that stage, I was like, holy crap, like that's like where I want to go, and that's the school, like that's the best school in the world. So it was definitely Australian Dance Festival, which like opened my eyes up.
And that's so interesting that you found out about them through an event like a festival, because yeah, sometimes I think a lot of studios probably don't even consider themselves, you know, being in the arena when it comes to being able to showcase their teachers or what they do at these big events. But that's not true. And I think that's really an important message, that these events actually matter. And so getting in front of as many young people as you can, and showcasing what you do as a teacher can actually inspire them. So that's really cool. What do you think?
I feel like some studios, they don't want their kids to go, because it's like, I feel like there's almost like knowing that they're gonna want to leave, but it's like you can't restrict like someone from like following their dreams. Like I remember like my dance studio, we didn't do like any big competitions or anything for so many years, and then a new owner came, and then she was like, right, no, we're taking you to Gold Coast, we're taking you to Sydney, and like it was just the best thing, because like then like all of us actually were like, okay, I actually want to take this seriously. And a lot of us actually did take it seriously from that, you know what I mean? The exposure.
Yeah, totally. I think it's interesting, that competitive nature of the industry. And I think that, you know, we don't, as teachers and studio owners, we don't own our clients, our students. You know, people should train in multiple places. Speaking of which, you obviously you're dipping into musical theatre professionally, and we're gonna talk about that in a minute. But training wise, you must have vocal ability and acting ability to be in musical theatre. Tell me about your training when it comes to, are you like a triple threat? Like, tell me about that. Don't laugh, come on. Just for context, I want everyone to know that Conor here is in the professional cast of Wicked. So you can't tell me. Oh, yeah, he's flicking the hair. If anyone could see, I love it.
I'm getting nervous now. Stop it.
No, but you don't get into Wicked if you can't hold a tune. I mean, you got to be able to sing. You got some chops on your shoulders. Tell me about it.
I feel like I have this problem all the time, because everyone's always like, when they ask me what I do, I'm like, I'm in Wicked, and they're like, oh my God, so like you can sing, dance, and act. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm on the ensemble. And I'm like, I have to just own it, because it's like it looks like I'm like asking for attention, but I'm not, I swear. Like I just don't, I think I have imposter syndrome sometimes. Like I'm like, how did I do this? But I've been singing for like a few years now. It's when I joined Brent Street, I was really like, oh, okay, if I want to like do as many things as I can, I think I should start singing. So like I've been doing singing lessons for like 4 years now. Stopped now because I don't have enough time. I should get back onto it. And I didn't really do a lot of outside acting, but like obviously in the syllabus for Brent Street, they like made us do an acting class a week. So I did get training from then. But I've always done speech and drama as a kid. It's not exactly like acting. It's kind of like, we used to do these like Eisteddfods where you have to read a poem. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I have done an Eisteddfod where I've read a poem. I know this well. Continue.
Yes, speech and drama Eisteddfods. I was like national champion back in my town, if I must say. But I used to do those when I was a kid up until I was in year 6, and then I stopped. And then I didn't really do much acting. And then I've always loved it. I focused on my dancing, and then when I came to Brent Street, I did more acting. So yeah, like I'd say I'm like I can do it all. My strongest style is dance, but like if I'm required to do it, I can do it, and I do love it,
Yeah,
and I
cool.
do want to get more into it.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And you know what? We do need to own this as artists. If you're being
yeah,
booked for something, that look, you have to hold a tune to being Wicked. You have to.
of
Like you would
course.
have gone through intensive auditions. And even though I know you can audition as a dancer who sings or a singer who dances or whatever, or a singer who acts or an actor who sings, there's all the
Yes,
different
yes.
types.
Dancer, actor, it goes
Yeah,
each way.
absolutely, absolutely. You still got to be able to sing. So
Of
I think it's a really
course, yeah.
important skill. I think more dance studios should actually have vocal training available.
100%. Like in America, I was talking to someone about it, and they were saying how like their training is so different to Australia because they're trained in dancing, singing, and acting. That's why over there there's so many more triple threats. Whereas like in Australia, I feel like it's just like you're either a dancer who can like dabble in a bit of singing, or like you're either a singer who can like move, or you're either an actor. Obviously, there is lots of people in Australia who can do it all, but I feel like it's like the training is just like simply dancing or simply acting. Like there's not many schools like after school dance training places that do it all.
Yeah, I think it should be the case because if you want to actually, especially in such a small market like Australia and New Zealand, we need we need to be able to do more because
Oh,
to stay employed,
yes.
like,
We need to create
and you will know
create
this
more
firsthand.
space. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about that. So, dance life, right? You're a
Mhm.
superstar on the show. We get it.
Stop it! You're flattering
I'm
me.
just teasing now because I know it's like me. If you could see anyone that's only listening to audio, he's like cringing, like, no, stop it, please. But I'm enjoying it. It's quite hilarious. And dance life was a lot of fun. There were the people that were, serious storylines, and I felt like yours was one more of jest and fun. And yes, you wanted it, but it didn't feel like do or die for you. I don't know. Tell me about how you
Someone
felt about
else
that
said that.
process.
Yeah, someone else said that to me. They were like, everyone seemed like they were like, if I don't get this, I will like die, or like I need to do it, like, or like this, my life depends on it. And they were like, you just seem like you were just going there like la di da da da. And I was like, I didn't realize I looked like that, but I think because I'd been at BSA for 2 years prior, I was like, I wouldn't say comfortable because I definitely wasn't comfortable. Like full time was very hard. I feel like I was almost so certain of myself. Like I was like, I know I'm gonna do it. Like I know I'm gonna make it. And like you have to be like that. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I had the mindset of like I've already done it. I still worked my ass off. Like I never wanted to miss a day. I like was there even if I was like coughing my heart out. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. I feel like maybe they just didn't capture the moments where I was like do or die. And like
Mm.
I feel like I am a very chill person. I don't know, like I feel like I like to stay calm because if I do get anxious, I shut down. Like when I am anxious, I don't talk. You can't see any facial expression on me. Like I just become like a stunned mullet, and I'm just like a cloud crosses my face. So I feel like I try to always just be like, it's fine, like everything's gonna be good, like gotta focus and just gotta like do my part, go here and train, have fun. And also at the end of the day, like it's not like we're saving people's lives. We're just there to train and be the best dancer we can be.
And you've gone on
So
to
I
do
guess
some pretty cool stuff. I loved that you were the light of the show. I think that we needed that. It can't all be heavy and serious. Um,
yeah, of course.
but you did actually accomplish quite a bit since filming Wrapped, and I want to talk about that because I want to know what it's like to work with the likes of, you've worked with Megan Trainor, Kylie Minogue, Tones and I think there's more. I'm sure there's more.
Tell me.
Even you saying those names, I'm like, I still think that's a dream. Like, I don't believe it.
Yeah, well, tell me about it. What's it like, for example, let's say Kylie Minogue. What's it like working with someone like Kylie Minogue as a dancer? Do you actually get to interact with them as the artist, or are you very separate? Do they stay in their bubble? Like, how does that work when it comes to celebrity style work?
Well, I think people assume that it's just like the dancers are just like on the side and then all the focus is on them. But like, I found Kylie Minogue to be so nice. Also, because she's Australian. Like, I feel like Australians are always like lovely. But she was so nice. They always like she was trying to like she was interacting with us, like trying to learn our names and like, like if she would make a mistake, she would look at us and laugh. And like they're very inclusive because I think they don't want us just to be like there's nothing worse if you're in a room learning a dance with people and everyone is just like so straight and like a ruler and they don't want to talk. Like the energy is just foul. Like you want it to be light and easy and fun and inviting and friendly. So I feel like they need to create that themselves because obviously it's Kylie Minogue. Like she's the biggest pop star in the world. Also Kylie Minogue, not Kylie Minogue. I always say it wrong. But yeah, she was lovely, and they were also lovely. I remember when Meghan Trainor walked into the room. She was I don't know how pregnant she was. She was maybe like 5 months pregnant. That's definitely a guess, but she had a bump, and she walked in and she was like, "Hey guys, I'm so pregnant, y'all," and we were all like, "Oh my god, I love you!" Like, because we were expecting her to be so like, okay, let's get to it. But like she was so chill and she made us laugh and it was so nice. And I think it was like very refreshing for me because it was like a very big step up from full time. Like it was only like a couple months after I graduated. And she made all of us feel so at home and comfortable. And yeah, like from what I've worked with so far, they've all been so nice.
It must be a different energy though. You did say Australians are chill. So
Yes.
what about American versus Australian, and not versus in a negative way per se, but just the energy? Is it a different vibe when it comes to celebrity or the entourage or the vibe? Like, what's that like?
I think it's just more like Australians are a lot more apologetic. I don't know, like we've definitely all heard that in our lives before. Like Americans are just very like, they say what they want and they get it. And which is like, we need a bit more of that. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we're also like, when we ask a question, there's always like an inflection at the end, or like even when we make a statement, like it's a question. When it's like, if you want to make a statement, it should just be a statement. Like if you need to do the choreo again, you need to do the choreo again.
Yeah.
So I feel like,
sorry, can we do that again, guys? It's like, okay, I need to do it again. Let's go.
Yes. And it's like, it's not bad. I think we've just grown up thinking that we always have to be so like shy and pulled back, but it's like, some people don't like that. Some people want you to be like straightforward because then if you're reserving yourself and pulling yourself back, it almost seems like, I don't know, it draws people away from you sometimes, which is like a big divider in some spaces. But I don't know. Yeah. I haven't worked with many Americans. They were mainly Australian artists because I did like Jessica Mauboy, Tones and I, and Kylie Minogue. And then Meghan Trainor was the only American one. And there was a TikTok star called Leah Kate that I worked with. She was kind of shy, but she was really good. But yeah, no, I don't think I would have a lot to say about American superstars yet. Because I will work with more.
Right?
Yeah, no, Meghan Trainor was
for the American dream. Like, what's the deal?
Oh, after Wicked, I'm planning on moving to LA. I need to get my green card. I'm going to go in the lottery. Like, I just want to get out of Australia.
Oh, really? Okay, let's talk about that.
Hey, it's Josephine here. Stick around, this is a super quick break. Now, I just want to share with you that I am on socials and I would love to connect with you there. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I just recently launched on TikTok. I know, I'm super late to the party, right? But I'm there. So follow me and let's start a conversation. Now, on my socials, you can expect free informative industry content, great interview clips, plus inspiration, motivation, education, entertainment, and more. So let's connect. That's Instagram, Facebook, and or TikTok. Choose your poison. I'll pop a link in the show notes and let's connect on socials. See you there.
So you are the typical Australian graduate who says this line. Why?
The green card, the magic
Talk
green
about
card.
why. What is the allure to the American market versus the Australian market for someone like yourself?
I just feel like over there, there's a lot more. There's a lot more, like, obviously there's a lot of opportunities here, but like it's a more niche, smaller market. Over there, there's like so many different avenues, and like the training is incredible. Like there is countless studios that have open classes running from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. every single day. Whereas in Australia, we kind of like run off just like the single open class a week, or like maybe 2 or 3 open classes. So it's like one of the things why we want to go there is the training. We can like go there for holidays and we can train every single day until we fall and drop in our hostel or wherever we stay. And all of the like most of the superstars are over there. So I feel like it's like, I don't know, like that's where you want to go. Like that's where the business
To get
is.
the opportunity, yeah. And it's really about more people, more work.
Yeah,
Right?
like it's triple the size of Australia. So obviously there's more opportunities.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
just I feel like getting out of Australia is just like a great learning curve, you know what I mean? Going traveling, living somewhere else, like you learn so much about yourself and so much about the world. I mean, like that's what I gather because I haven't done it yet, but like
Yeah, and that's something that you're looking forward to. I totally get it. I mean, you know, you mentioned once you're wrapped with Wicked. Now,
yes,
you are the youngest cast member of Wicked, is that correct?
I'm the cast baby.
Cast baby. So
Yes.
talk to me about that because in, you know, Brent Street, okay, you're one of the featured cast members of a television series. You're one of the, you know, top graduates of the school. It's all happening. You're booking work and life's good. But then you walk into a musical cast. You're the youngest person there, and really, it's like starting from scratch almost.
100%. Like starting from the bottom. Like it's like when you go into, you know, when you go from primary school to high school
Mm.
and like you think you're like top tier, like your school captain, like you're looking over all the kindergartens and you're like, yeah, I'm older than you. And then you go to high school and then there's like big year 12ers that are 18 and almost finished. It's literally like that. That's how I can explain it. But
Mm.
everyone was so welcoming and nice. And like, it wasn't like there was like a big division between me and everyone. Obviously, like they were like, "Oh my god, you're 19 and I'm getting married next week." And I was like, "I haven't even thought about my taxes and you're already planning to have a baby." Like it's crazy. But it was definitely hard at first cuz I felt like I had to grow up like like this because like everyone, like a lot of the cast had already done shows, previous shows, they worked on shows together, they'd all known each other, and I knew no one. So I was like, I'm the baby and I also don't know anyone, and it's also my first musical. I'm fresh out of full time. Like people are going to be like having their eyes on me, making sure I'm not making any mistakes and like doing anything wrong, and like he's the fresh full timer, like let's see how he goes. So I feel like I felt like I put a lot of pressure on myself. So like at first I was just very reserved and shy and like trying to make good impressions. And then after like a few weeks to a few months, I was like, it's so chill. Like I don't know why I'm putting so much pressure on myself. Like at the end of the day, it's a job. And like everyone is so comforting and so inclusive. Like I don't have to feel like I'm that far away from everyone because in reality we all book the same job, like we're all there together. So it took me like a while to really like adjust to the dynamic of everyone and the dynamic of all the ages and like, yeah, sorry, I just blabbered my whole
No,
life then.
I'm thinking about that further because it's true. You know, you when you come from that big fish in a small pond to them being the small fish in a big pond. I mean, you said something which quite resonated, and that is that you're all there doing the same job. And
Yes,
someone has to, you have to start somewhere, right?
100%.
So,
And
you
like,
know, I think that that's a really important message because it doesn't matter what you're doing, whatever it is, not even dance, everything. You got to start somewhere. Like someone has to say yes
yes,
to
I
kick
know.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Like
think that's really cool.
yeah, you can't start without a yes, you know what I mean? And
Tell
like
me,
also I feel like I've learned so much more about myself and how I like act in like new groups and social situations and big social things, like I'm constantly like growing and learning, and like even though it was hard, it's great now. And I'm like looking back and I'm like, holy moly, like in the past, however long I've done it, like 8 months, I have gone from like as a personal growth, I've gone from like here to like through the roof. And like there's so much more to go, which is like so exciting. It's just such a great learning curve, and I'm just ready to like do more of that.
You've been doing it for months, so you mentioned. And so there's a repetition nature on this, isn't there? So it's quite repetitive. I'm assuming you're doing multiple. How many shows a week are you doing at the moment?
8 shows a week.
Yeah, so 8 shows a week.
So
Same show,
we hit our,
same role?
yeah, same role. So we hit our 200th show last week. Don't know what day it was, but yeah, 200 shows. And yeah, I'm the same role. So I'm a monkey for a lot of it, which is so cool. Like I wear this like crazy prosthetic mask, and most of the time it scares the children in the front row, which is so funny to see their faces. Like sometimes they're literally crying up against their mum, being like, "Oh, there's monkeys!" And it's amazing. Like a part of me is like, "Oh my god!" Like I don't want to scare you, but then another part of me is just like going even more monkey-like.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
you're
8
totally into the
weeks.
character. And it's like, this is it. This is all
Yeah,
happening.
yeah.
Tell
Like
me
I'm getting
about the
paid for this.
repetition. I want to hear about the repetition and what that's actually like as an artist, having to do the same thing day in, day out, day in, day out.
Yeah, so I think I honestly didn't really like think about that. Like I kind of just got caught up in like, oh my god, I'm in Wicked. And then when we started the shows, I was like, oh, like I'll be doing this for like the next 14 months. Like I'm doing this 8 times a week for a little bit over a year, and then it started to really hit. And that's when I was like, this is a normal job. Like it went from being like my dream fantasy, like musical, to just being a normal job, which was, I think, a little bit hard for me because I was like, I was expecting it just to be like sunshines and rainbows and love and singing and dancing. And then it just went from rehearsals to work. And like, I was just shocked. Like, I was like, oh my God, like, I have to do this. But I'm so grateful, like, that I get to perform in front of like 2,000 people. I don't know how many there is in the Regent Theatre. I think there's maybe 2,000, 1,000 to 2,000 people. So it's at the end of every show, I just look up at the crowd and I'm flabbergasted. Like it's crazy.
So, you can be grateful for something, but still go, oh man, that's a job. Like I'm grateful
Yeah.
for the job, but it's a job.
Yeah.
And I think that is a reality check, I think that it's just real life. It's adulting, man. Like that's how it goes, and doing the same thing day in, day out for 14 months is a lot.
Yeah. And like, I absolutely love my job. I love performing in front of people. I'm not saying that I didn't like it at all at one point. I was just shocked. Like I didn't, like I almost forgot about how long I was going to be doing the same thing, and I forgot about the repetition. And that's why it was a shock to me, because I was like, holy moly, like I'm doing this. But I remember, I think it was at the 2023 grad, I came to watch it, and Lucas came up to me and he was like, I told you so. And I was like, you did. Because he always had those chats to us about how the transition from full-time to the work life is hard. And I think like I almost took those chats for granted. I was like, oh yeah, like it's fine. And then he came up to me and I was like, I told you that. And I was like, you did. I'm realizing that now, which was just crazy. I thought that was funny.
What about the realities of being on a television show? I mean, versus, because stage, you have people that are your fans, but it's a totally different fandom to that of television. Would you agree with that?
Yes, 100%.
Tell me about
Well,
the difference
are you
and the
talking
fandom.
are you talking about the difference between the Wicked fandom and the Dance Life fandom?
Yeah, let's talk about
Okay.
that. What are the fans like when it comes to your Wicked fans versus Dance Life TV fans?
I feel like the Wicked fans are a lot more, I don't know how to say it, like they're a lot more involved. Like there was this lady, she's incredible. I forget what her name is, probably shouldn't say it, but she's a massive Wicked fan and she came to watch the show like 50 something times. Like 50 times seeing the same thing. And like that's gotta cost like a whole lot of money. And yeah, they're crazy. They love the show so much. And it's so cool seeing them outside and they give us like friendship bracelets and these drawings. Like even we were getting drawings, which I thought was crazy because I'm just an ensemble member and like they're doing drawings for everyone, like even from the principal roles just to the ensemble roles, even to a monkey, they're giving us drawings. So I feel like the Wicked fandom is a lot more I don't know how to say it, a little bit more involved, but that's only because Wicked's been around for so long. Like they were fans of the show before we even did this tour, you know what I mean? Like they were fans of it in 2007, they were fans of it in 2014, they're fans of it now. But so that's why I feel like the dance life fandom is definitely a lot newer. But it's definitely cool seeing the dance life fans come to Wicked because they talk about me on stage in Wicked and then they talk about me in dance life. And I'm like, it's just so weird. And I'm shocked that they want to get a photo with me or like they want to like ask me questions. Like I still don't think it's real. Like
Yeah, Emily
the other
Smith,
night,
I was chatting to Emily and she said like she's been stopped in the street a few times and it's just a bit wild. Do you find
yeah, it's crazy.
does it feel, how does it feel? Like, does it feel like you are a celebrity?
Oh
Or
my God, I feel like $1 million. Like I feel like I'm
I just
like I
love
was
that
out.
honest answer. Thank you.
Yeah, I feel amazing. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like it's great. It's building my ego. But
Yeah.
I was out the other night at a club and there was two people that recognized me when I was at a club and I was like, boy oh boy, like do I have to like rein myself in? I can't like let myself go crazy like when people are like know who I am. But someone pulled me up. They actually were a producer or a music producer from Australian Idol, which I did Megan Trainor on and Jessica Malboy. And he was like, I saw you at performing with Megan Trainor and I watched you on Dance Life. And I was like, that is crazy, like the connections that you can get from something I did a year ago to something now, and now we're meeting in a club and like I know him now, which is crazy. And like that's a new connection I have to the TV and music world. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm very grateful for this opportunity because it's created so many new avenues and pathways and like things that are happening overseas. But yeah, I love it. I love when people recognize me. Don't get me wrong. I want more of it.
You've been approached by UK agents, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. I got messaged on Instagram DM from this agent and he was wondering when I was going to be in London next. And I was like, oh, I probably should go to London now. Like I've got someone who wants to book me, which is crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And it's interesting because, you know, these international opportunities, I know people that have gone down this route. There's so much, there's so many hoops you have to jump through to even get there. People think, oh, you just move overseas and you become a superstar, but you got to like do the applications and do the things and do the work. And then you get there and then you got to survive until you book the job. And it's the whole process.
I think I even thought that when I was younger, because like I obviously wanted to be like, as Arabella would say, on billboards and things like that when I was a kid. And I thought it was gonna be so much easier. Like I was like, by the time I'm 20, I'm gonna be on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And now I'm 20 now and I'm like, oh my God, like there's a lot more for that. Like I have to actually buy my plane ticket. I have to find accommodation. I have to do this and that. I have to get a visa. Like I thought it was so much easier. And like we forget that there's so many different steps to actually get where you want to go. But I almost feel like that's the fun part of it. Like this sounds so cliche and so gross, but it truly is about the journey, not the destination.
It so is about the journey and not the destination. You really crack me up and make me smile. I think you're amazing, Conor.
Thank you.
Yay! It is sunshines and rainbows, even though you said it's not always, but there is a
Oh
lot of
yeah, no,
sunshine and rainbow coming.
yeah.
Let's talk about success and what it means to you. How do you define success?
Oh, that's a hard one. I think success is it's honestly depending on how you feel at in your career and within yourself. And I feel like there's all different, for me, there's all different pointers. Like for me, success is being recognized for my talent and my kindness, humbleness, happiness, and personality, and how I treat others. And yeah, I think success is just a whole different bunch of things. But end game, I think my success would be just to be recognized worldwide for my talent and for my creativity, and just for me, you know what I mean?
And an acknowledgement is one of those success, like for some people is a really big success indicator. And I totally get that. Who or what inspires you most?
I think, who would inspire me most? Oh my God, I like have all of these people that inspire me, but I always forget. But I think at the top of my brain, someone like Paula Abdul or Dua Lipa, Troye Sivan, who else? Just people like that who do not give a damn about what they're doing. Like they sing, they dance, they act. Especially Paula Abdul, because she choreographs her own music videos and her own performances. Like I think that is crazy. And she also sings live, and she's like getting lifted up doing backflips while she's like singing a fucking excuse my French, pretend I didn't say that. Like singing a big
We'll
note,
just put the E explicit on the episode. All good, done. You're not the first, you won't be the last.
Okay, good. I was trying so hard not to swear, but it just came out. I'm sorry. But yeah, definitely Paula Abdul, because I'm definitely interested in singing. I just feel like it would be so cool to be able to sing, dance, and choreograph at the same time. Yeah, definitely Paula Abdul. She's incredible. Like I love her. I was watching Ariana Grande's Yes and music video. That was like an homage to Paula Abdul's. I forget what it was called. She did a music video and it was very similar. And Ariana Grande like did an homage to that video. And I'm just like, she's really paved the way for dancers, singers, and artists in this generation. You know what I mean? Like she's bringing the old school jazz style back, and she's kept it current, which I love.
Yeah, I love that. Cool. And tell me, what's next? What's next for Conor? Before we wrap up, I want to know what's coming up. What's on the horizon?
I think you've really put me on the spot here. I think London, because I was born there, so I have a passport. So I think after Wicked, I think I'm just going to go straight to London and just train. The one thing that I've been missing while doing this contract is training. Like I've been seeing all of my friends going to classes and doing things, and although I'm like doing what a lot of people want to do, like I feel like I've just been stagnant in my training. And like I feel like I'm not getting worse, but because I'm not doing as much, I feel like I'm getting worse. Like I feel myself just like not getting worse, like staying still where I'm seeing everyone else growing. So like that's a very hard thing for me. So definitely after this contract, I just want to train. I want to travel and train, take as many classes, meet as many people. And also one thing I want to do is really focus on my creativity and choreography, because I've really found a love for creating my own work, and just even combos, like, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's so fun, and like, it's almost like a challenge to make up something that like no one's ever seen. Even though like, I'm not saying I'm like, my choreography is like something no one's ever seen, but like I want it to be. So I feel like that's a really fun challenge trying to make it like that.
Yeah, that's cool. And you know what? People train to work. The whole point of training is, yes, for self-fulfillment, but it's also so that they can land a gig. You've landed the gigs. So don't feel like you're going backwards in any way, because you're not. You're forwards. You're doing it. The people out there training are like, oh my God, I wish I was Conor. It's funny. We always want to be somewhere where we're not. It's crazy. But just know you're doing it,
It goes back to what I said before, like when you get to your destination, you're always going to want more. You're never going to appreciate where you are. And like, that's why I have to like remind myself that I'm doing what a lot of people want to do, and I have to live in the moment and be present about what I'm doing, because I'm fulfilling my dreams. At the end of the day, I'm doing what I've always wanted to do. I'm doing what little Conor wanted to do when he watched Strictly Ballroom after that 4-hour drive. Like, I'm doing that. So I have to remind myself that's what I'm here for, and that I can train when I finish. You know what I mean? I can train in my own time. I'm always going to get better. I'm only 20 years old. I think for me, I'm just a very impatient person. Like, I don't like being still. Like, I always just want to like do more, go here, go there. So it's something that I need to practice.
Totally. Okay, cool. Well, I love that. And if people want to find you, where do you play online? Where can they find you?
Instagram. Conor
Instagram, your love language. I love it.
Thank
you so much. Thank you so much, Conor, for being on the show. I really appreciate it. We'll put a link in the show notes so people can find you, but also a link to Dance Life on socials. Check it out, everyone. That's Dance Life on Amazon Prime.
Oh. Literally, you'll cry, you'll laugh, you'll dance, you'll love it.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed it so much.
Studio owners, would you like to be able to offer your students and community opportunities in film, television, theatre, commercial, on stage, in musical theatre, and more? Well, you can. Right now, most studios receive auditions and opportunities via email, but they don't really have a strategy around it. They don't have an in-house talent management service. They certainly don't receive any kickback or revenue or commission from the bookings if their students book the gig. They simply flick the email to the talent and say, hey, here's the audition, go for it. But what if I told you that you could actually make talent management a strategy? You could turn it into an additional revenue stream. Not only can it increase your studio's revenue, having an in-house talent management service or talent agency, but it can also increase your student retention and your industry credibility. Now, for a limited time, I am offering myself up, yes, offering myself up on a platter to show you the ropes when it comes to how to tangibly create an in-house talent management service. I am the creator of the world's only course that teaches studio owners how to go from studio owner to talent manager. Right? This is a world first. I've been doing it for a couple of years and no one else does it because, you know, it's breaking the glass ceiling of the entertainment industry. It's making the arts and professional industry accessible. Not everyone wants that, but I do. So I'm an advocate for artists, I'm an advocate for talent, and I want you to be able to provide those opportunities, but also make it an opportunity for your business. So, Talent Manager Bootcamp doors are not currently open. However, I am offering myself privately through one-on-one coaching through a Talent Manager Intensive. This is a 3-month coaching process where twice a month for 3 months, you will get me as your one-on-one coach online. The schedule is your choice. You book through my calendar, super easy there. You'll also, for a limited time, get the lessons, the pre-recorded lessons of Talent Manager Bootcamp. So you get me one-on-one and you get the pre-recorded modules of Talent Manager Bootcamp. Within 12 weeks, you could be operating your very own in-house talent management service. So what are you waiting for? Contact me now. I'll pop a link in the show notes to my emails. Shoot me an email. It's hello@josephinelancuba.com, or you can book a free 15-minute discovery call, have a chat with me, and let's nut it out. Let's have a conversation, ask me all your questions, and away we go. Go from studio owner to talent manager. It's totally possible. Create your dream studio today. This episode was brought to you by my signature group coaching program, Studio Biz Success, an amazing and accessible online educational platform for performing arts studio owners designed to help you grow your business with confidence and get your results. Check it out at josephinelancuba.com along with other great industry resources to help you leap into the studio biz you deserve. If you love this episode, be sure to share it with your friends. You can tag me on social media at Josephine Lancuba and give it a review. Your support helps the show to grow so I can continue to provide you with useful, informative content. I'm Josephine Lancuba, your biggest cheerleader. Thanks for listening and shine bright.